So it would be
fine, thank you.
Yeah, I think it's a good observation. And
it's a huge number. I mean, what's his budget? His budget in total is $500,000.
No.
What is it?
345 or something.
Right. So $70,000 is 20% of that number. So in fact, his budget's gone up 23%.
He's right, his budget for 2015 was $455,000. That's closer to $500,000.
Okay, so his budget's up, 15% plus the 3, so he's up 18% on quick math. He's not up 3%. He's up 16 or 18%. So something's not right.
We wouldn't be able to put the budget in at that.
Well, I think Tom's done a great job of establishing the principle of his question. This is not the meeting at which we will examine. I'm trying to get her to be quiet. This is not the meeting at which we will discuss that in great detail, but thank you. I see the whole. Your logic is impeccable.
I used to make budgets that had those hidden numbers, so I know how they work.
Maybe you should be on this side.
Or run for office.
The money's in there, find it.
Tax rate comments or question. I understand that the DRA is conducting kind of a random audit of our assessments.
Yeah.
And so the question is that going to hold up to,
No.
is that likely to hold
No,
up?
that is what they're actually doing if they came to your house, was they are checking to make sure that the assessors that we had measured and listed right. That's all it is. It's an assessment on the assessors.
So licensed assessment firms get a report card every year.
They didn't come to my house because they refused to let them.
Well,
That's a
that's
different
what it
question.
is.
Yeah.
Basically, the contractors, and there's only a handful of them that are approved, they get assessed every year in their performance. And the way they do that is that some other professional assessor who works for the state rather than a private contractor and has the same training and the same license and the same insurance, comes over here, picks some cards at random, and goes out without looking at the number, and goes out and says, I think this property is worth it. And if that varies from the contractor's number by too much, there's hell to pay. So far, we're doing okay, but you got to do that. Trust but verify, he said. So it's random at some point, or at some level. Other questions for AABC?
Kristen, weren't you talking a little bit about a possible mileage policy because you know what?
Talked about it, thought that would be something on the punch list, and I didn't write it in my notes.
I got it. I'll let it right on now.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think we talked about that briefly at the last select board meeting. They sent me away to say, come up with some ideas, and I promptly forgot to add that to my punch
I
list.
can help with that. Just push it over to my email,
Okay.
and I'll tell you exactly how to do it.
Really?
Yeah. I'll tell you where to go get the number.
Yeah, it's right online. 50, I think it's around 50, right?
I used to do it on a regular basis.
Yeah.
We don't have to accept that.
The state gives us the number.
Oh, I know. It's
Is
just
the federal
it's a
number or the
policy
state
about when
number?
it would be used and when it would apply and stuff like
Okay,
that. That's
I
okay.
know there was a choice at the house.
So we did the, oh, by the way, somebody pointed out to me the other night that this guy is actually not Irish. It's not O'Conte.
No, it's
No.
not. It's an O with a period.
I've been wrong for so long about so
You're
much.
Irish with the name Sylvia.
Silvio, I love it. Anyway, we gave you we corrected the dates on this in the minutes. We gave you the notification for the next stage of the hearing. Is there other action?
Yes, you go online and for comments and supporting evidence for your comments. I didn't bring that card with me this time.
It's okay. But if you Google Silvio O'Connor,
Right.
draft CCP, you'll find it.
So we want as many people to comment as possible with backup for your reasoning, validate. I already have mine figured out.
Do we have a broad idea where in town this is going to look?
We know exactly because it lists every property.
In the report?
It's tax maps and everything.
Tax maps and everything.
Don't hurt her with that.
Yeah.
I hate to read off the computer. I wish I had something like that, but I'm not going to print that.
You may borrow that. That is the town's copy.
Yeah, okay, that'd be nice because I I hate reading, I don't read well.
You may borrow it, but you will need to,
Bring it back.
you'll need to set a date and time by which you will return it so that the next person can know. It's like the library,
Yeah, I can
that's all.
Yeah.
Because if I borrowed it, it would sit in my house for months. Still wouldn't get read.
So also on that, yesterday I attended the Gilsum Selectmen's Meeting. They had no idea that this existed at all. They were unfamiliar with it. They were not notified about it. They were surprised and shocked. And Gilsum is the worst one. It's 52% of that town. It's the highest percentage. And,
At this time, we are going to be just as bad in the end, but at
well,
least for
right,
this
for
time.
this, what's a question today, it's 25% of the town of Alstead. Next Monday, I will either be in Surrey or I'll be in Richmond to talk to select boards down there. I'm trying to get somebody else to go down and talk in Richmond.
Marlo didn't know either until they,
There was a Marlowe selectman at the meeting, and you gave him the
Yeah.
heads up.
Jim
Yeah.
Connell, state rep down in Swansea, you know Jim.
Yep.
He's, Richmond is in his district. He's Swansea, Richmond.
We should talk afterwards and see if we can hook up with Jim.
Yeah, I'm in contact with him all the time, so.
Other than that, that's pretty much it.
Well, thanks again for going to Gilson for the outreach.
Carol, if you'd like to see some of the maps for our area, I have it.
Chris?
How do we get a request through to New Hampshire Local Government Association? LGC? Just an email.
it doesn't go to the legal,
Peter, you just want that signed?
legal inquiry that.
Let's do that, and you can go home and take care of your wife. Or maybe you want to come here where there's no sick people. Unanimous. All right. So we need to sign that. One page and a check one. So this is the intent to cut for the town forest project that we discussed an hour ago. Chamber of Commerce line item is a bit of a blindside for Mr. Dowling. I was trying to track down an email address for you today, and I succeeded thanks to Bob Q. There's some interest among the downtown merchants that I drink coffee with in doing something. And I don't want to put you on the spot, but what I was going to write in my email, you will get tomorrow, is just basically, would you be willing to come to one meeting and talk about what chambers do, because that is part of your important part of your background. That's all. Pay as you go, pay as you throw trash. I put this on the agenda because I invited them to come and do a public information session. Got no dates, got no times. We did print out a little bit of propaganda from them, which I think we made only 3 copies of. You're all welcome to have mine. Got nothing to say about this except I intend to give it a good close look to see what the ramifications are. I could go either way. Status quo, but if there's a compelling financial reason to do something different, I want to be able to talk about it with some facts. We agreed 4 months ago to put up little signs on Class 6 roads, and I shopped for signs on the internet the other day and was depressed by the pricing. So this is just a reminder to get you to make David talk to me with one of his prison sign catalogs. That's it.
Is there one? Oh, good.
The prisoners make them all that time.
That's excellent.
We may have a very short non-public if we get through this budget stuff and we still have any breath left.
All right.
Nothing critical, nothing's on fire, but I have a couple of little items. And I will only announce, this is not an item for discussion, the first meeting of this Food Shelf Advisory Committee is a week from tonight in Langdon, 7 p.m. I'll be going to represent Alstead. That's all I know. I don't know who's on the committee. I don't know what. It's an organizing session. Certainly open to the public. This meeting will start. Mr. D.
I just have one question. If we were to not have a food shelf or meal program,
Yep.
would our people be eligible to go to wherever else
Absolutely.
to get those items?
I don't know of any
Less
town,
conveniently, certainly, but they would be eligible.
I don't know of any town that restricts its feeding programs to residents.
They can't because they get federal money.
I-
That's where it comes down to.
I'm certain that the first part of that is true, but it's not true that all programs get federal money. And
Our
so,
program gets federal money with the.
our program gets federal food, it's not actually
Right,
cash.
because we question why we're all the Vermont cars at the food giveaway, and.
One more remark like that, you're gonna be on that committee.
Well, that's just what we asked about that, because we went to donate, and it was full of, was all Vermont cars just about.
Yeah, times are hard everywhere.
Well, to let Vermont take care of Vermont, I'm sorry.
That's editorial.
I know,
Okay.
but that's true. So we asked why, and it's because of federal money.
It's certainly true that over there, at the moment, there is no litmus test for citizenship, residency, income level, plenty of opportunity for abuse. No one on this planet, and perhaps no one in heaven above, knows what level of abuse there might be in our program. It's not our program, exactly. So, all I know is that that meeting is populated with representatives from each of the towns, which I find to be good news, and I have no idea beyond that whether it will be any use or just a complete disaster. But I'm going to go and try to make it work. I'm hoping to get out of being part of that committee, but it doesn't smell like it. So, who wants to go first, fire or ambulance? Good, Jesse. Thank you very much for stepping up.
Does everybody have a copy of the budget?
Could you make the letters smaller? Whoa!
So, you could thank Carol for the letters being tiny.
Oh, thanks, Gary.
Maybe one more. Three more.
Jesse, if you're comfortable, I'll just let you run this section of the meeting.
Okay, so basically the only thing you'll see is a 5.9% increase, which this is a proposed budget. And I have a proposal to make of why we have a 5.9% increase. And definitely your opinions will see if we have a 5.9% increase or level fund it. We have some pretty awesome people in town that cover the calls a lot during the day, all kinds of crazy hours. And it seems we have a new problem time to cover a call, and this is really bizarre. But it's the weekend. Because the people that have covered all the calls all week need to go out of town and do their things. And people do what they do on the weekend, which sometimes precludes them from responding to emergencies. So if everybody is out of town doing something that precludes them from responding to an emergency while they're in town, we have the possibility, and it's happened on a Saturday evening, we don't have anyone able to respond, or enough people able to respond. This 5.9% increase would be an incentive for 2 members each weekend of every weekend of the year to be paid to be on call for the weekend. They would get their pay as well, but by agreeing to be on call for the weekend, they would not be doing any prohibited activities, and they would stay in town.
Is there a list?
What's that?
Is there a list of prohibited activities?
I think we could be discretionary on that, but it would ensure would ensure that we'd have coverage on the weekends.
60%.
What's that?
No, I'm talking to him, I'll talk to you in a second.
Okay. So that would ensure coverage on the weekend. I haven't even talked to the members about it. I'm sure that they would be in favor of it because wages and, everybody needs money. And money's a really good incentive.
So what do you, may I ask something?
Sure.
I understand you're saying there would be a base pay for them for the weekend being around?
Right, $50.
And then plus if they are called
Right, they would get their they would get their normal hourly rate.
for when they're on call, for when they're actually responding.
Right. From the time they go out, just the way they are paid now. This would basically be, I guess I don't want to use the word stipend, but it would be a pay for the weekend, $25 for Friday and Saturday night, which will be 2 people.
Right. So it's $100.
So it's $100. And a lot of that was done for accounting, ease of accounting, and that's a nice round figure that's enough, but not a ridiculous amount, I don't feel.
So you're talking $50 a week?
Weekend,
Per person.
$100 a week,
So that's why the $5,000
$5,200, yeah.
Okay, so you're not adding more people?
What's that? No,
You're not adding additional people? How many people do you have?
I have 13 right now, and actually there will be additional people next year. So the other part, because I knew this was going to come up, is so the 2 people that are paid